Hi Wargamer, thanks for stopping by GMG. Thought I'd take a second to introduce myself and tell you 5 things that you should know about my YouTube channel. Hi, my name is Ash, and I am a 30-year tabletop wargamer. I discovered miniature wargaming in 1988 in the back cover of a book called The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Since then, I've worked in the industry, I've traveled around meeting wargamers from all over the world, and I've most recently, back in 2015, discovered the world of YouTube, and of course the internet, I guess, community for miniature wargaming. Since then, I've dedicated myself to producing great tabletop content as a way of staying home and spending time with my kids. Previously in my jobs, I traveled an extensive amount and I spent a lot of time away from them. So when I had kids, I decided it was time to settle down, do my own thing, and of course, be able to spend as much time with them as possible. I don't particularly subscribe to the idea that one tabletop wargame is better than another, and I love trying new games. So with that in mind, I created a YouTube channel where you could see all kinds of games represented. Indie games, skirmish games, mass battle games, all different scales, all different genres, and I could explore and enjoy, of course, with my friends, a world of tabletop gaming. And that you guys, of course, who may not be able to do that on your own, will be able to do it vicariously through me, checking out things you might not see anywhere else, things that are local, things that are from another country, and things that might not even be the language that you speak. So that was my sort of core principle here. Was I do a lot of mainstream games, but I also do a lot of independent games, and we provide a great mix of content that's from all over the world and in all the genres, styles, and settings. There is only one person creating content for Guerrilla miniature games, and that is me. I am the cameraman, the chief painter, the chief janitor, and also the editor, uploader, and designer of everything that you see in videos. I've helped out a great deal by my wonderful friends in the hobby and lots of wonderful guests who travel from all over to come play games with me. I'm super grateful for them for all the time they've committed, and of course all of the people who've appeared in my videos in the last 3 years. And I gotta say that this could not have been possible without them. But at the end of the day, it is just myself making content. This is a one-man show. There is no art department, there is no editing department, there is no miniature painting department in the background doing any of this work. With very rare exceptions, when people will occasionally send me, samples of product that are already painted, I do all the miniature painting myself. And in fact, when people send miniatures for me to check out, I almost insist that they are unpainted, as I would like to be able to actually see the quality and be able to share it with you guys as I go through and paint them myself. So I do all of the actual creation, of course, not for my opponent's armies, but for my own stuff that you see me play with, as well as the terrain and, for the most part, the accessories and stuff that you see in games as well. So yeah, that's that's part of doing it all by yourself, is you have to do most everything by yourself. There's some rare exceptions, of course, where people will send me pre-finished products for terrain, or I will, of course, farm out some terrain making duties because terrain's a big job for one person. But for the most part, every miniature you see played in a game, played in one of my armies, is painted by myself. So running a YouTube studio is not inexpensive. Of course, there's the studio rental. There is, of course, things like electric. There's things like having an internet connection at home for uploading, downloading videos, all the operating costs like my gas bill. And then, of course, the simple fact that I have to pay myself some kind of paycheck too to feed my kids, which pays for, their Cheerios, rent, groceries, gas for my car, all that stuff. And all that is supported not through YouTube ad revenue, as you might think. YouTube ad revenue would barely pay the electric bill for this place. Not through sponsorships. Sponsorships are only available to channels over 100,000 subscribers or more. We might get there someday, but YouTube sponsorships are locked out for smaller channels under 100K. And it's not pay to play. And that's important for you guys to know, is people whose products are showcased here through the Let's Play program do not have to pay to do so. Because if I charge little guys, independent game designers, I'd have to charge everybody. And if I charge the big guys who might be able to afford it, the little guys wouldn't be able to. So we don't do a pay to play program here. You won't see any kind of focus on independent things because they pay me to do so. It's all 100% unbiased, 100% basically selected by me if it looks promising and it's got, a thing that I think you guys would like. So how is it supported? Well, the channel is supported 100%, well, 95%, because there's some income through YouTube, by Patreon. I'd say 99% of the way this place is supported is through the patronage of wonderful people who basically believed in me doing this and thought it was important enough that they pledge support for every video I produce. I do not do a monthly pledge. What I do instead is I typically do a per video pledge, which means if I don't make anything, nobody gets charged, and it keeps the fire under my ass, basically, to continue making content. The idea there, of course, with Patreon is people can pledge support for artists who independently create content, and it's a way to keep this thing moving and keep it going. And if you do like this content, the independent content that hopefully you can't see anywhere else, then yeah, consider supporting me on Patreon, because that's what makes this go. And without Patreon, I don't keep a roof over my kid's head and pay the rent and pay for their groceries, or be able to pay for any of the stuff to happen too. So big thanks to everyone past and future that supported me through Patreon, made all this stuff possible and continues to make it possible going into the future. And that is it. The 5 things that you should know about Guerrilla miniature games. I hope you choose to subscribe, and if you do, of course, you'll get access to 7 days a week of content, checking out new games, mainstream games, indie games, and all kinds of cool stuff as it comes along. So we'll see you in the future for more of this. Till then, I'm Ash. Tabletop Gaming.